Hi, everybody. It's Saturday, May 12th, 5 p.m. my time, Pacific Daylight Savings Time, here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're doing another live broadcast today on the Billion Coin, TBC. It's a cryptocurrency that came out 2 years ago. I've been involved for a year. So, a year after they started is when I found out about them. I had previously found out about cryptocurrency about 4 or 5 months prior to that. And of course, it was Bitcoin because it was the most popular one and it was been around the longest. And I had was still doing research 4 months later on it and trying to figure out why the heck did they put it on a trading market exchange where the price could be manipulated, but understood that it did make the coin a lot popular and it did help with raising the price of that coin. But there's a big negative side to it. But I was doing some research and I saw a video that said TBC, and I had not seen TBC on the coin market cap, and nor had I heard the word the billion coin. Okay, so I checked out the video and the rest is history because this coin is not on any market exchange. It cannot be manipulated by the wealthy. Okay. The market exchange, stock market, commodity, whatever market's out there can be controlled and is controlled. It is the central banker's system for collecting the wealth of everybody else. They pump and dump. That's how those systems work. Now, people can make money, obviously, if they're smart and know what they're doing. Okay. But most people don't, but they trust the system because it's all we've ever known in our lifetime. So, anyway, as you know, look around, things are not so hot economic wise. And they haven't really gotten any better since the crash of 2008. And this is one of the main reasons I understand that Satoshi Nakamoto, which is what the man calls himself, who created the blockchain platform and Bitcoin, did that because he was just tired of that system. And the technology had just come. Okay, open source had been around for a while, but it wasn't encrypted like blockchain. So the rest of that is history, but people have been slow to come on over the years since 2009 when Bitcoin came out to accept it because it was so strange. Internet money, that's really like, even I did that in 2011 when I first found out about Bitcoin. It's like, that's crazy. Even though I was completely aware of the central banking system and its whole history, I still wasn't tech savvy enough to catch on, okay? Because I'm not about tech stuff. So I read through it, but I found out, obviously that it was not on or based on any market and that it was abundance based. And by abundance based, it means that the coin always goes up in price, it never goes down. Okay. And of course, if you're familiar with cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and the others that are on CoinMarketCap, you'll see them fluctuate up and down every day, which makes the coins volatile, which keeps merchants, retailers, and people kind of, wary of it because if they need it to turn around and buy something the next day and the price goes down, they lose. Price goes up, they win, but there's no telling which way it's going to go, right? Over time, like every 12 months, it goes up. When you go back in history and you look at the Bitcoin, it's always gone up. 12 months later, it's always been worth more than it was 12 months before. So over time, it goes up. So if you're using it as a way to protect your wealth as an option, like you have gold, you have silver, platinum, whatever's of value, that's how you can look at cryptocurrency as an option if it's blockchain platformed. So it will, you can't, and plus it's easier to carry around. Nobody can steal it from you. So you're not going to get robbed from your cryptocurrency. But it's an option to protect your wealth, which is all of our wealth. Most of it is connected to the central banking system and their fiat Federal Reserve note, okay, the US dollar. Okay, so that's an option. But see, TBC, the Billion coin, is an absolute solution to the economic system. I wanted to say monetary system again, but it's not money. There's no value in the US dollar slash fiat, I mean, Federal Reserve note. There's no value to it. It's not backed by anything anymore. They have taken that all away from us. Okay, they've been in power in America a couple of times, but they've been in power straight since 1913. And their structure is extremely powerful and strong. And so it's been, we have been, as people here in America and all over the world, have been just victims. And I hate being a victim, but what can you do against a system that strong, that powerful, and that wealthy? They own people. They own governments. They get what they want. And what they want is the wealth. Okay. And now we know it for a fact that as of 2016, 1%, for the first time, 1% of the wealth, I mean, 1% of the people in the world own 99% of the wealth. And the 99% of the people own 1% of the wealth of the world. That's a fact. You can go look it up. And that's what's wrong with the world. I always mention this on my broadcast because I never know when someone's going to get on one of my videos, and I need to go over all the basics every time I'm on. And the thing about this problem with the wealth distribution on our planet right now is we have 7.5 billion people living on this earth. 7.5 billion. And we have just a little over 2,000 billionaires. 2,000 out of 7.5 billion. And you wonder why there's problems in this world. Okay? Who are these 2,047 billionaires? Are they all good people? From looking around, I'd say 99% of them are not. Okay? Because it's such a small group. Okay, so the Billion coin came out with a mission to change everything. Not only eliminate global poverty by having enough coins, not only creating an algorithm which bases its value on you and I, people, as we become members of this private community and we have a free gift of the coin, which we call Kringles, because they're a division of our coin. Our coin is now so expensive, very few people could buy one coin. But we have a small centralization part of our system, and the admin is involved on a daily basis with making this thing succeed. We've been around 2 years now, started off with just 100 stakeholders who were vetted, and we knew who they were, and they were like-minded, and there was an extra 71 people that came along with them. And that's what we started with in March 21st, 2016. 171 people. Okay, and yes, they were allowed a certain amount of coins, not whatever they wanted, just a certain amount, but it was a ton of coins, okay? Because every member that comes in, if they want to purchase some coins, they have to purchase it from another member. Admin doesn't sell any coins, okay? So oh, I'm sorry. I don't. You'd have to ask Marina. I don't know whose that is. Okay, so where was I? Oh, how we control our system and we control our wealth. So we controlled all of that, and we went from there. Okay, so every person, the way our algorithm works, that comes in and gets Kringle, whether they buy it or whether they get the free gift. We're giving it away free. That's another thing that you won't see out there. I don't see anybody giving away Bitcoin. And it's because they're not based on what we're based on. Their value is not based on what we're valuing it, which is you and I. So common sense says the more people that have our coin, the more valuable our coin is, right? We want our coin to be used as money. That's the bottom line. We want everybody in the world using our coin within 2-3 years. Everybody. And we have control of who gets the wealth. We don't allow rich, wealthy people to come in and buy all the coin they want. That's not how we're set up. Okay, we're the complete opposite of greed. Put it that way. We're the complete opposite of greed. We are a community of non-greedy people. We have changed our minds from the scarcity mindset that we've been brainwashed and brought up in to a mindset of abundance. Why? Because we've been educated. Okay, we educate. The admin has been posting blogs since a week after he came out with the coin. It's how he keeps in contact with us. And he's got a ton of information and a ton of education by just going through that blog system, which is on blog.thebillioncoin.info. It's also down below in the description of the video. And there's so much truth in those blogs, you're not going to be led astray. Okay. And you can also just find your education in other places, books that have been written by real legitimate people who had inside knowledge of the central banking system, how it was created, and all of that. Okay. And this is the way I was brought up because my mom was into that for some reason. So we would talk about it at the dinner table. But I was the reader of between my brothers, and she was always buying me books. Okay, and she bought me books like this one. This one came out in 1971, The Naked Capitalist, by an author who was the former head of the FBI in Salt Lake City, former chief of police in Salt Lake City. His career is unreal. Okay, and he had a bestseller called The Naked Communist. It came out, I think, 61 or 62. It was a bestseller. Okay, so then 10 years later or so, he came out with The Naked Capitalist. Both systems have their pluses and their minuses. Communism is got a lot more minuses, I believe, but capitalism is just ripe for greed. It's ripe for corruption. Okay, so he explains all this in this book, and he names names and he puts pictures of the central bankers. Okay, and this is real history. Okay, and then other people have come out like G. Edward Griffin. Okay, with a huge look at this. Okay, which tells the exact story of how the Federal Reserve Bank was put together by the individuals who brought it over from Europe. Okay, they owned Europe already. They owned England, the Bank of England. They came over. They followed us over, and because they didn't want to let it go, they didn't want to let their power go. He goes into massive detail, okay, but it's still an awesome book. I've read it twice straight through, and then I read parts of it all the time just to refresh my memory because I have a terrible short-term memory. But anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the value of our coin is based on people, so we need to get it out, so we give it away free. Right now, the gift is worth, we're giving away 25,000 Kringles, which is like 25,000 Satoshi, which is, a division of Bitcoin. Okay, ours is just called Kringles because our admin calls himself Chris Kringle because he's Santa Claus. He's giving the gift out. Okay, and nobody knows who Santa Claus is, right? Nobody knows who our admin is. Okay, just like Satoshi Nakamoto is anonymous. Okay, who cares who the owner is as long as he's doing what he's supposed to be doing? Satoshi did what he was supposed to do when it came to Bitcoin, if you ask me. He stepped away only 2 years after he created the coin in order to give confidence to the miners and the owners of Bitcoin that he wasn't going to mess with the plan. He came out and said, hey, we're mining 21 million coins, and that's it. 21 million. Okay, there's your supply and demand. And it wasn't on a trading exchange when he came out. So he was using that as its value. Okay. So obviously 21 million coins is not going to be enough to feed the world. So, but it was a beginning. It was a beginning until the billion coin came out as the first abundance-based coin. And now there's coins that are following. Okay. Another coin's coming out. It will be successful because the company behind it is already successful in what they're doing. And they've already got a ton of people, 200 million, in fact, using their free messaging platform. It's Telegram, okay? And they're coming out with a coin called TON in April of next year. And they have broken all the records for an ICO for bringing in money because investors are educated enough now in 2018 to understand what an abundance-based coin is. Their algorithm, okay, it's not going to be on the market. Their algorithm is based on people purchasing their coin. Every time one person purchases their coin, they raise the price of the coin just a fraction because it could be divided by 100 million, right? So it raises the price just a fraction. And the next person that comes along buys it at a little higher price. It's not really noticeable, okay? But it does raise the price because people coming in are buying. And every single person that bought $1.7 billion worth already, okay, has raised the price of the coin. So it will continue to go up in value every day until it hits whatever their maximum is. I don't know their system yet, okay? But the more coins that come out that are abundance-based are solution coins. They'll be solutions to the world's problems if that's what their mission is. That's what our mission is. Okay, 1 billion coins will never go higher than that. That's all we're going to produce, 1 billion coins. Okay, and we've already produced them. Okay, so the problems that we have seen in cryptocurrency showed up a year ago, even sooner, even before that, with transaction times. Okay, the old blockchain platform is unable to do massive transactions at one time. It bogs the system down. Okay, and they have to do something when it gets really bad, like create a fork in a new coin, which is what Bitcoin did last year with Bitcoin Cash. They're doing something this August 1st. I'm not sure what, but again, it helped the system when they did that. You know, it got back up to where they could do transactions fairly quick within a few minutes. But that doesn't cut it. It doesn't cut it. When you can go through cash registers and use your Visa and MasterCard and it's done in seconds, just like that. That's what you need, right? You need a monetary system where you can just, use your QR code like Bitcoin on your phone, but it gets done right then, instantly. And it could be used by people all over the world at the same time. So admin went ahead, the creators, and created, because the technology was there now, 8 years later, for a platform 2.0 on the blockchain that does transactions in the hundreds of thousands per minute, compared to what Bitcoin can still do, which is only about 10 transactions a second. So what is that? 600 a minute? Whatever it is, it's nothing compared to what Visa and MasterCard can do, right? So that's what we're migrating our people over, our current membership, okay? Now, when I got involved, it had been 1 year. So the membership grew from 171 to 97,500 and something. Almost 100,000 people a year later. So based on the price of, we were basing it on the euro, one person would come in, they would raise the price up of the coin by €1. Okay, a little bit more in the US dollars, obviously. So that's when we were basing for the first 2 years, actually. We just recently said, okay, it's time to switch over to gold because, the euro was temporary. Everybody understood euros and US dollars. The world understood what they were, but they're fiat cash, they're fiat currency. They have no value. So why are we basing something of extreme value, our coin, on something that has no value, right? So it's time to switch over to gold. So how are we going to do that? Well, the smallest measurement of gold. Well, let me get back and finish this. I have a bad habit of starting something and not finishing it. Our membership grew to 97.5, right? All right. So the second year, which was basically 2017, from March until March of 2018, we grew by 30 times during a very slow period of our history because our system got bogged down just like Bitcoins did. Okay. We were doing so many transactions, even though we were not on a trading exchange where every trade is a transaction. We were doing so much peer-to-peer between ourselves, purchases from each other, buying things from each other, that it bogged the system down. Okay, so he was prepared for that, and he had already started to build. And over the last 6-8 months, it was finished just a couple months ago. Okay, and then they went into their testing period. And so far, it works fabulously. So within just a week or so, we're going to be migrating the entire membership over to that platform. And like I said, it will be a game changer in the cryptocurrency world, because right now, after growing 30 times in our second year, we went from 100,000 to 3 million. Okay, that's 30 times. If we just go 30 times again, we'll be at 90 million, right? In March of 2019. In 12 more months, we'll be at 90 million. The following year, we'll be at $1 billion. We'll be there, because that's where the price maxes out. So under the old system and the euros, when our price would have maxed out with our first billion members, it would have maxed out at 1 billion euros per coin. So if you owned one coin, it would make you a billionaire, okay, when the price maxes out, when we have our first billion people. Oh my gosh, all this. No. Sorry, guys, if you haven't been listening, I haven't been paying attention. Let me switch over and hear you guys yell at me. Let me switch over and hear you guys yell at me. Okay, I don't see anybody complaining. Maybe I haven't been talking loud enough and I've been getting away with it. My microphone was on a earplug system. And the microphone, it is kind of right in front of me, right? It's laying here. So maybe you guys have heard all right. But the mic on the computer, I think, is much better, especially if I raise the volume up. Let's do that just to make sure. Okay. All right. So now, where was I? Oh, okay. So if we're talking about the growth and how fast we can get to our first billion people. So we're not talking about years and years, folks, to get wealthy. We are making people wealthy right now. Okay. And we have basically since the beginning. That's the whole point, is to bring total abundance to the entire population of this earth and have enough left over for another 7.5 billion, 15 billion people on the earth. There's no limit to the resources on our earth. We've been told that there is. Oh, we're running out of water. Oh, we're running out of food. Oh, we're running out of this or that. Oh, there's global warming. There's climate change. The world is coming to an end. We need your money. This is all the central banking system in the deep state, okay? That always want to cause fear, emotion in people. If they can create emotion in you, they've got you, okay? And we have not been able to get away from that system until technology caught up, okay? So this is the first time in history that you're seeing this kind of leverage that we are offering. It's just like the first time in history when the internet came out. Nobody knew what the heck that was, and they had Very few, okay, the vast majority didn't know the potential, didn't understand its potential, but look what it has done for the people that knew way back then and bought Microsoft stocks, okay? And the other people that just eventually caught on, okay? A lot of those people are very, very wealthy, okay, all because of the internet. Technology is good. Comes with good and bad, but with more good. Okay, that's the bottom line. Don't let people scare you, because that's an emotion. And when you're afraid, they've got you in their control, because then you're going to do whatever they tell you to do if it sounds like you have to in order to avoid, you know, dying or something. Okay, they want, that's how they work. And politics and money are tied together. I've said this in every single video, I think. Okay, money brings freedom if it's in the people's hands. That's the bottom line. To me, my passion in doing these videos every day is I want to be free. And what do you mean, Paul? This is America. We are free. You're free. You can go outside and get in your car and go wherever you want. Yeah, if I've got the money, I can go wherever I want. I can buy something, or I can have fun. I can do this or that, or maybe I'm limited. Maybe I only have so much money because of the way the system is that not only am I working, but my wife's working, and, you know, we're trying to do what we can to keep a roof over our heads and feed the kids. You know, that's the way it is for people, for most people in America. Now, there's some of us who are not quite that bad, and there's some that who are worse, who are living in tents on the street. Okay, this is absolutely pathetic for people in America to be struggling to pay their bills or to take the kids to a movie. Today it costs $100 to take your kids to a movie and have popcorn and candy, you know, depending on how many kids you have. But you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Something's wrong. When only the entire wealth in their hands and the rest of the 7.5 billion don't, there's something wrong. And that's why you see the chaos in the world that you do see today. But it's time to make changes, slight change. Trump and the Patriots are winning the battles, and we're chipping away at that foundation structure that the central banking system have built over the decades and the centuries. And they're losing. They have lost North Korea and the war they wanted to start and the fear they wanted to bring to the American people. They've lost it. They have one more chance. They can do something really, really drastic before Trump goes over there on June 12th and meets with Kim in Singapore. That's their last chance. After that's done, it's a done deal. Okay? Peace between North Korea and South Korea. The war is over. The war is going to be over. They'll sign it by the end of this year. They'll denuclearize the entire peninsula. And everyone's happy. Okay? And obviously China helped. Russia helped. But we couldn't go to war. If Trump wanted war, he could have easily just gone to war against North Korea. That would have been the end. Right? World War III, the end of the world. Russia would have backed up. China would have backed up North Korea. But that's not what we were doing. We were just getting the deep state out of North Korea so that Kim could actually leave his country and start talking with the president, Xi Jinping, in China, and start the process of making peace. And then he met with Moon in South Korea, and now he's going to meet with Trump. Okay, that'll be the end of that process. In the meantime, we're busy all over the world. Okay, and we're taking care of business in Syria. We're keeping the right man in business, which is Assad, even though we make it look like he's the enemy. Okay, the deep state is the terrorist systems in the world. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, all those terrorist groups, they're all backed and created by the deep state, which is the central intelligence agencies of the world, the intelligence community of the world, which works for the central bankers. Okay. And you don't have to believe me. You can just go online and do some research. And after a couple of days, you'll be absolutely convinced that it's 100% true what I'm telling you. Okay. Otherwise, it's just, you can just use logic and common sense if you can hang on to it or bring it back and say, and just to look around and say, you know what, this is a mess. Why? Why is it that the United States is $22 trillion in debt to a private banking system when our Constitution says we are supposed to control our money? We are supposed to make it. And it was handed over to a private bank by a trader named Woodrow Wilson in 1913, who now lends money to governments all over the world and charges them interest. So they have to turn around and create tax systems against the constitutions of the world and tax people, you and I, off the income that we work hard for so that we can pay the interest on these loans that they're loaning the government. Hang on, let me just look at something. Okay. It's insane. Okay, it's insane, but we haven't been able to get rid of it because the structure is so strong and we haven't had the technology to do it until now. This is a change in history, a huge change in history, and the future is writing it down right now. And they're going to look back and say, hey, look what happened when blockchain platform was created on the internet. Look what happened when countries around the world started making their own cryptocurrency and backing it by whatever value they had, resource they had in their countries, oil, gold, platinum, silver, anything of value. Okay. The system here in America has reached the point where it's going to crash. Now, obviously, the central banking system never wants it to crash because then people can point the finger at the central banking system, the Federal Reserve, and say, you guys caused this. We don't want you. You're out of here. Something's going to change. We're going to bring back the gold to our dollar. And that's what every country is in a position, there has been all this time. They just keep you on the edge of defaulting on your loans, and then they bail you out. And they just make more money. Well, not money, they just make more currency. And the system gets worse and worse until it can't get any worse now. So it's going to crash, and whoever hangs on to the narrative will hang on to the power. Do we want that to be the central banking system that hangs on to the narrative and points the fingers at Trump and the Patriots and says they did it because of this or that, tariffs to China or blah, blah, blah? Okay, are we going to be dumb enough to go along with that if that happens? You know, and then they'll have to back up their currency with gold because the world already has had it with the US dollar, the Federal Reserve note. They've had it. There's no faith in it. China is getting rid of it with their own yuan that's backed up by their own gold now. Russia is already done with the US dollar. For the first time in decades, the US dollar is no longer the reserve currency of the world. It's not anymore. Check that out. That's got to tell you something's going on. Something's happening. It's not good. Venezuela, you see what's going on with them. Okay. Their new socialist government practically destroyed the country. Okay. And the people, well, they had to do something. So they made their own cryptocurrency. They called it the petrol coin, I think. And they backed it with their oil. But the central banking system, deep state, has put sanctions on the country so they can't sell their oil. I mean, they can sell it to a few countries, I think, but not much. Okay. So the people understood that and they started to use the coin, but they kept complaining to the government, hey, you know, is this really real using this coin? Does this really have value? Because we've got the oil, but we can't sell it. And the government actually agreed with them and said, yeah, you're right. You got a good point. But guess what? We've got our gold back and it's in our country. Okay. And here it is. We're going to back this petrol coin up backed by gold. How's that? And the people are, yeah, now you're talking. Okay. So now Venezuela's economy is getting better and stronger every day. Now that's almost like a miracle when you consider what it was going on a year ago. It's like a miracle. And what's that miracle? It's the blockchain platform. It's the blockchain technology. Countries and governments are using the blockchain for all kinds of things, not just cryptocurrency. They're using it to protect their paperwork, all their documents. I mean, it can't be hacked. Okay? So every country out there, who all of them are oppressed, that's on the central banking system, and have been oppressed by these individuals who have come in and taken over and bought the politicians and then taken over the people's resources, whatever resource that country had. They stripped it to themselves, and the people live in poverty. The third world countries, why is there third world countries in 2018? Does that make any sense? Why are there second world countries? Well, there's certain reasons that you can say, but they really don't come into play to the point where it's creating that kind of poverty and that kind of oppression. So if we eliminate global financial poverty, we're bringing freedom back to the people. We're bringing freedom back to these countries who now can own their own resources. Okay, and now there's peace. Okay, at least when it comes to from greedy people like 2,000 billionaires who want all the money to themselves so they can do with the evil stuff that they do, because it's so tempting when you have all that money to do what you want, right? And we're created subject to vanity, so we're basically born sinning machines. We can't help ourselves. Okay? God is the one that does the good through us, and that's how he teaches us both aspects. We don't know what white is if we don't know what black is. We don't know what day is if we don't know what night is, right? So this is the whole plan of God, and he's in control. We just go along with his plan. And hopefully, as we see things happening, his plan seems to be that Trump and patriots now have an opportunity to beat the central banking system and create financial abundance for the entire world instead of poverty. It's not going to make the world perfect. People are still going to be people. People are still going to do criminal acts because of hate, but they won't do it because of lack. And I've said this before, that's a huge amount of crime that's going to be reduced. People will commit crimes and rob others and kill others for their money, for their shoes, for their watch. It's insane. Okay? And I have my eyes open. Thank God. He opened my eyes. And he can open anybody's eyes he wants to. So those whose eyes are going to get open or are open already, and you're listening to me right now, get involved in our community, because our community is private. We control it. And that's a good part of it. The blockchain is completely uncentralized, completely private. But we have control of how we distribute our wealth to our memberships, to our members. Okay, so what we are doing is we are creating 1 million billionaires, multi-billionaires. We're going to make 1 million, not 2,000, 1 million. And we have a vetting system so we know what kind of people we're dealing with. Okay, and I've talked about that before on other videos. You can go check those out on my YouTube channel. And then when we're done with that, we're going to create 1 billion multimillionaires. And there'll be enough Kringles between our billion people that we'll be able to bring abundance to the other 6.5 billion people. In fact, there'll be enough money and abundance to bring it to another 15 billion people if we had that many on our planet. Okay? So that's what our goal is. That's what we're doing. That's what we're all about. And we're in a position of leverage now that nobody has ever seen. So nobody understands it. I mean, think about this. Right now, one full coin is we now basing it on gold, right? So the smallest measurement of gold is 1 grain. Okay, that's smaller than a gram. It takes 480 grains of gold to make 1 troy ounce. So 1 grain right now on the price of gold is worth about 2.2 euros each. So it kind of basically doubled the value of our coin overnight when we switched over to basing it on gold. Okay, so now every time someone joins, the price of our billion coin goes up by 1 grain of gold. So when it maxes out at 1 billion people, instead of being 1 billion euros per coin, it's going to be 2.2 billion euros per coin, or like 3 billion US dollars, according to today. And we should be there within 2 years, 24 months. Because why? Because we have the blockchain 2.0 that we're migrating over to. We're going to take 90 days to move our people over. We got 3 million people, right? Almost 3.2 now, since March 21st, our 2nd year anniversary. But you'd think out of those 3 million that we'd have 1 million billionaires already, because why? We're letting you have a full coin for $100. Spend $100 for somebody that has the coin. Okay, and $100 worth of Kringles is not much now, but it will go up in value. Okay, it will go up in value, and when you understand that, then you're going to jump in. $100 is nothing, and you don't have to. That's just if you want to get your hands on 1 full coin that's now worth today $8 million. So you'll become an instant multimillionaire, and you will be a multi-billionaire in a couple of years, even if it takes 3 more years to get to 1 billion people. But see, we only need to double our current membership, 3 million. 9 more times and we'll be over 1 billion people. And we can do that really fast when people find out about our blockchain. I mean, imagine now when we approach merchants, retailers, service providers and say, hey, we've got a money, say a year from now, when we're at 100 million people. And we have we'll have an economy. So just say when we're at 50 million. I mean, Bitcoin has 12 million and they have a little bit of an economy, right? You can use it at some stores. But those people who are accepting it are just holding on to it. They're not turning around and spending it because the price fluctuates too much. So they're just holding on to it because they're smart enough to know. And they've also got enough cash flow that they don't have to use the Bitcoin. So they're just going to let it go up in price and watch it every year. Okay? Which is smart of them if they can do it. Okay? But it limits the cryptocurrencies that are on market exchanges. There's no limiting what we can do with the billion coin. Okay? So when we reach a certain amount when we blow past Bitcoin's small little community of 12 million, which we'll do in just a couple of months after we're on this new blockchain, simply because when people find out how fast we can transact, they're going to come on board. And of course, the more education, like this other coin that's coming out by Telegram, just validates what we're doing, that algorithms based on something that makes sense is an abundant-based coin. It cannot be controlled by the rich. If they have some kind of a small control mechanism set into the system, which we do, we control the wallets. And we'll control the wallets until we get to our first 1 billion people. And then the creators of our coin will turn that wallet system back over to completely decentralized, because there'll be no point at that point in needing any control. But we need control now. We need to spread the wealth out so the wealthy can't come in and buy up all the coin and leave scraps for the rest of us. What would be the point of coming out with our coin? And that's our mission, is to end global poverty, financial poverty. Okay? And bring abundance back to this world. We want to use our coin. We don't want to use fiat currency. We don't want to sell you. We'll sell you our coin for Bitcoin. Okay? There's something of value. But we really don't want your fiat currency. But if that's all you have, then fine. You can pay us PayPal or something. And we'll give you this 100 Kringles. But what comes along with the 100 Kringles is 100 million cookie reward points that are worth 100 million real Kringles that you can redeem during a redemption period. And we have these redemption periods every so often. We're in a redemption period right now, the month of May. Okay, the whole month of May, anybody who has cookie rewards in their back office can redeem them for coins. Okay, so we are constantly bringing out promos for, I mean, you can actually get a coin by just working, by just telling people or giving the gift out to friends and family. You give out so many gifts and we'll give you 100 million cookie rewards worth one coin. And then when a redemption month comes up, you'll redeem them and then you'll be an instant whatever. If you redeemed them right now, you'd be an instant 8 million, you know, multimillionaire, you know, eight times, not 8 times, but 8 million. Okay. Eventually 3 million in US dollars, 3 billion, I mean, in US dollars. I'm always mixing the millions and billions up. But anyway, when have you ever seen leverage like that? You want to become a billionaire? $110. $10 we have as a lifetime wallet fee. Lifetime wallet fee comes with no transaction fees whatsoever. You can make 100 transactions a day and never pay anything for those transactions. Can you get that from credit cards, Visa and Master? Can you get rid of fees? Do you have to have bank accounts? Do you have to be on their system? No. So they can gouge you everywhere they can. Oh, you didn't have enough money and it bounced and you know, we had to charge you $25. Well, if I'm that broke, how am I supposed to pay that $25? Oh, well, you know, I have no choice if I want to keep that bank account, right? And hang on to my credit card or my debit card. It's just an insane system beyond people, and you know it, okay? But we haven't known how to do anything else. We really haven't. We haven't been in a position till we have been right now. So that's why we have this 24/7, 24-hour a day, 7 days a week, live broadcasts going on. For those of us members in our community who want to volunteer to get on and do a half-hour minimum live broadcast every day or whenever we can. And of course, if you have that ability and you have that desire, admin's going to reward you with coins. Okay? He rewards us for everything we do that gets the coin into people's hands. Whether it's education, which is what we're doing with these videos, or just talking to people and getting them into the system, getting their free gift, which is currently worth $3,000 and is going to go up in value till it gets to reach almost $1 million when we reach our first billion members. When the price maxes out, it'll basically be worth close to $1 million. Now, that's not going to make you a millionaire, but I mean, you don't have to do anything except pay your one-time $10. Well, actually, the $10 is an annual fee for your back office, which controls all the promos and everything you need to do your thing. Okay, it's more valuable than $10. It's worth $50 a month. He's giving it to us $10 a year, but he's throwing in the $10 lifetime wallet fee along with that. Okay, so you don't even have to spend another $10 on the wallet. It's included with your annual $10 fee. And it will always be just $10 because you're paying for the back office. Again, we are throwing in the wallet with that first time when you come in and purchase your back office for $10. We just started charging that. In fact, it really doesn't take it into place until June 1st. Okay, everything has been free because we're not about gouging people. We're not about, we want your fiat currency. Admin is the one getting that $10. He's not getting anything else. because he doesn't sell any coins. He only sold those initial coins to those 171 people. From that point on, people have bought from us. That's the only way they can. Okay, so we're not a scam just because we're not on a trading exchange. In fact, we're the opposite of a scam. Okay, we can't even be manipulated in our price, in our value. You'll never see it go down. Every day it goes up because every day we bring in new members. Every single day. We grew by 30 times in the last 12 months when it was the worst period. It was way worse than the first year. Okay? But the first year was the first year, right? So we only grew from 171. Well, we only grew 171 to 100,000. How many times is that? Okay? So you know what's going to happen. We're not going away. We're 2 years, and all we've done is gotten better and improved our system and grown stronger. And now we're coming out for the first ever 2.0 system where we can take all the transactions we want anywhere in the world. That's the game changer for the Billion coin. And people are going to follow, and we want people to follow. We want all coins that come out to have that ability because that just brings more freedom, more options for the people of this world to have control of their own lives, to have real freedom. And believe me, there's nothing like real freedom until you have it. If you think you're free now in America, take a look around. Just how free are you? Really? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we don't like to look at it. We don't like to see it. We put our blinders on when we're going down the streets and we see tents on both sides of the streets on the sidewalk and these people. But you know what, people? God is good, and he does good through us, doesn't he? How many of us just, when we see somebody with their hand out and they need help, if we have the cash, we give it to them, don't we? Or we buy them food, or we do things even when people aren't struggling. We pay it forward. Okay? So don't put yourself down because the poverty exists. That's not you. That's the elite central bankers that are doing this. Those individuals, small group of individuals in reality that are actually controlling with their money the massive people that are involved in that system, the elite, the deep state. Okay? Because they're in a position, being involved in the intelligence communities of the world, they're in the position to do the worst, to create whatever they want, terrorism, disaster, wars, and make more money and get more control. And that's all they've been doing the last 100 years since they've been here in America. And they were doing it before that. Okay, so let me think if I finished everything I was going to say. Yeah, I mean, I could just go on and talk, but I'm trying to keep these down to an hour, because I always go over. And so let me just finish up by saying that you've never seen leverage like you've seen it now because of technology. If you want to know, it sounds crazy. Spend 110 from anybody that's doing these broadcasts. Our information is right below, okay? If you can, pay us in Bitcoin. Okay? Or any cryptocurrency, we'll take it. But if you have to, we'll accept your worthless US dollars or your worthless euros, because we'll just turn around and buy some cryptocurrency with it. Okay, the point is, this is for you. It's for us to get it into your hands as cheap as possible. Okay, because that's why we're giving it away. Okay, but we're only giving away 25,000 Kringles, which is currently worth $3,000. That's all we're giving away. But who else do you see giving away $3,000? To anybody who wants it? A day-old baby? A 104-year-old person? Anybody in the world with an email address that's legitimate, because we will send you 2 emails when you sign up that you will have to click on the confirmation link in those 2 emails in your office and to set up your wallet and have those Kringles deposited in that wallet. If you don't open those emails, then the whole purpose of signing up was worthless. And all it takes to sign up is a name and an email address that's legit. That's all. I think they ask you for your country. Okay. And of course, they ask you to create a password so you can get into the system. And they'll send you a password for the wallet after you click that confirmation. They'll send you a password for that. And then when you go into your wallet, there's a place to change it to whatever password you want. Okay. And that's all blockchain. The wallet, the blockchain system transactions is all blockchain. Does that make sense? The wallet is what we have control over. The wallet system, okay? This way, people cannot discount our coin and ruin our coin. Think about that. This way, people can trust us. It's like they don't trust the US dollar because of what they know. Common sense. They don't trust it anymore. And they're rebelling against it. Everybody in the world is rebelling against the US dollar. So tell me something's not going to happen, people. Everybody are talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. Protect your wealth. Have a little gold on hand. Have a little silver. Have a little cash. Because we're still going to be on that system when it crashes. And when the inflation comes and a loaf of bread goes from $5 to $15, you're going to need some cash to buy a loaf of bread. Okay? Unless you can exchange silver or gold. And you got it somewhere where nobody can rob you of it. Okay, but have something. Have a little extra food, a little extra clean water, a little extra medication, a little extra anything, toilet paper, anything that you might want to barter with. That people are going to want and need because they weren't awake when it happens. And they can no longer afford to buy the things that they're used to buying, if they were even able to buy those things. So, I mean, imagine. Imagine, what if they say there's 40 million people on food stamps? 40 million Americans? What happens if the money is worthless and the value goes up? They're just going to make more money? No, the system will be crashed. We're going to experience a transition into a new cash system, an actual new US dollar that will be backed by gold. That's the only thing that makes sense. That's logic, that's common sense. They have to back it with gold, otherwise no one will accept it at that point. And nobody in the world is going to accept it. Okay? So even if the central banking system wins the narrative and manages to blame Trump, and they hold on to the system, they're going to have to back it for gold until time allows them to steal it right back. Okay? And we'll be right back where we were. But God willing, that's not going to be the case this time. Okay, it's certainly not going to be the case with us and the Billion coin. We want our own currency. That's money. We want to use our Kringles as money all over the world. We don't want to be on anybody's cash system, anybody's currency system. We want it, and we want it on a blockchain. We want privacy. We want freedom. It's what we're all about. So forget the unreality of $100 or 110 can make you a multi-billionaire. Forget that. And just accept that, hey, technology has done amazing things every time new technology comes out and we see what's going on in the world. What do I have to lose? 110 bucks? Look at it that way. And if you really don't have $110, then okay, fine. Come into the system for 10 bucks. We'll give you $3,000 free gift of Kringles that will eventually be worth close to $1 million if you never bought any more. and if you never did any work to help us bring in people. Because we're not going to be a currency until we have enough people. Okay? As you can tell, as you know, if Bitcoin has a small economy right now with 12 million, you can see that we have a ways to go with us only having 3 million. But imagine our blockchain platform that we're going to migrate over, and we'll be on that system within 90 days. All of us, all 3 million. We'll maybe have 4 million by then. Okay? What do you think that's going to do to our growth? Like I said, merchants will go crazy, especially after we get 50 million or more people. I mean, even at 25 million, we can approach merchants and not only tell them, here's a coin you can take, boom, just like that. Here's a coin that's going to go up in value every day from the point that you take it on until we reach our maximum price. But guess what? We have 50 million members that will do business with you. One bunch of it is going to say no to that. Okay, this is the day when this world is very small because of the internet. Have you ever heard of online business? Okay, come on, people. It's here. It's here. But we are not a popular social media system where people are, oh, there's a new Facebook, there's a new Instagram, there's a new whatever chatting system. And they just, they come aboard. It's cryptocurrency. This is a little, not everybody's just pouring themselves into cryptocurrency, especially if they learn about it and realize, well, geez, why does it go up and down in price all the time? That's kind of scary. Well, the stock market does the same thing. I mean, you hope it goes up, but when it gets time for them to dump, and then we saw what happened in 2008. We saw people lose. I don't even want to get into it. But anyway, now is the time, and that's why I'm and everybody else that are doing these videos is trying to get the word out. Because we are a cryptocurrency, which comes with a little bit of education. So a lot of us will say the same thing every day, like I do, because we don't know when a brand new person is going to pop into a video, and they need to know a little bit of the basics in order to get them to push and click on the links in our description to go get more information. Okay, at least that's where I'm coming from. Now, other people that are doing these broadcasts will talk about different things. That's what makes it so exciting. That's why I go and watch other ones, because even if I'm not available to watch it when they're live, their videos are always there. I've subscribed to all the channels, and I can go on and watch whatever I want. And if they're talking about something that's interesting, awesome. I'll learn something. I keep learning. That's the way I am. I love to just learn things that I'm passionate about. I have problems learning things that I'm not passionate about, like tech stuff, okay, or math. But I'll even learn that stuff if I have to. Okay, like when I got my real estate license, I learned all about basic math really well. So I passed it on the first time, which was funny because, in real estate, all you realtors out there know what I'm talking about. Well, at least in California, where I got my real estate license, there was like 6 different tests that they hand out. You never know which test you're going to get when you go down there that day that you're going to take your test. So you can be studying in whatever study system you're using, Century 21, 2-week school, crash course over the weekend, which is what I did, which was absolutely useless, by the way. But I got lucky, and I found a realtor that had copies of the 6 tests. They were a little bit old, a couple of years old. But I studied those things like crazy. And I learned the math because she told me, she goes, Paul, you don't know which one of these you're going to get. And you'll notice that some of them have hardly any math on it. But you'll notice there's a couple that have a ton of math. If you get one of those and you don't know your math, you're gonna fail. You're gonna have to take the test over again. So that's up to you. I'm just letting you know. And of course, I was one that, if I'm going to do something, I don't want to fail. Okay. Okay. And Linda sure as heck didn't want me to fail. She had her own business. She had her own nail salon. Everybody knew I was going to go out and take the test and become a realtor. I wasn't going to let her down. So I learned the math, even though, it's not something I'm passionate about. I'm not passionate about tech and computers, but I love using them. I'm not passionate about building motors, but I sure love the cars that go fast. Anybody who knows me knows me. Okay. So build it and I'll drive it. Okay. Make it and I'll use it. But don't ask me to figure it out. Unless I'm passionate about it, like I am about freedom and truth. So that's why I'm here, to spread the word and to help educate anybody. If it's just one person I reach, that's gonna make my world. Okay, so you guys, it's Saturday night. Go have fun. Have fun for the whole weekend. I'll be here tomorrow. I'm already scheduled. God willing, I'll be here at 5 o'clock again tomorrow, Pacific Daylight Savings Time, to bring you another same thing. You know, if I've got something new to say, I'll say something new. Okay, but I've got to get the basics out there because I'm just so obsessed with letting you guys know as hard as I can that you've never been in a position like this before, with leverage, with money. You've never seen it. It's too good to be true, but it's true. And what is the risk? $110 to become a billionaire, a multi-billionaire. $110. That's your risk. You've never had that ability in your lifetime. And I don't know if you're ever going to with any other coin. I can just talk about my own coin. Okay? The billion coin. The Kringle coin is what we should call it now, because Kringles are getting so expensive. The billion coin is already out of reach for 99% of the population of the world at $8 million a coin. Okay? It's real. Why is it real? Because people are real, aren't we? And there's power in people. There's power in unity. When the people get together behind something and they get together, then change happens. It always has. It always will. It's history. Okay? So whether we want to do something good or we want to do something bad, all we got to do is get together and do it. Okay? Think about that. Let's do some good. So all you people that are like-minded and getting rid of, selfishness and greed, or don't even have it right now, come and join our community. Every patriot in America should be a part of our community. If they want to do something good, it's because they don't know about the billion coin yet. Because they are doing everything they possibly can. Tremendous, tremendous patriots are out there working with Trump. You just have no idea. But it will come out. But now we have a way where all the other patriots in America, the Americans who put Trump in office, we put Trump in office. Just like we put John F. Kennedy in office and barely scratched out a win against Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon was a shoo-in. Who was John F. Kennedy? He was nobody. Boy, that freaked Nixon's head out, something fierce. Okay? And what did John F. Kennedy do? He wanted to get rid of the central banking system, put everything back in gold and silver. He wanted to take our troops out of Vietnam. It didn't happen. Timing wasn't right. You know what happened to John F. Kennedy. When Reagan came along, same thing. He couldn't get it done because the timing was off. Okay? So now is the time. And it's happening. So please, just use logic and common sense and get involved. The cheapest it will cost you is $10 in fiat currency, a pizza, right? That's the cheapest, and you'll get a free gift of $3,000 worth of our Kringles. That will be worth, in a couple of years, 3 at the most, God willing. We'll have 1 billion people by then, and it will max out at just shy of $1 million. That should help. That's if you did nothing. But come on. Patriots, spread the word. Because there's a ton of patriots in this country, and there's a ton of patriots all over the world. And I talked about this yesterday, that the third world countries are the ones that are paying attention and getting involved because they're living and they always have lived in horrendous conditions. So their minds are way more open than Americans' minds, even though we know that it exists right here in our country. Okay, so anyway, have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And God willing. Okay? Have a great night, guys. And thank you so much for listening to me. See ya.